What? Huh? Brad, you're such a douche. Jesus Christ. I
Whoa.
gotta give
Whoa.
a little ambiance.
Whoa.
Hey. Hey.
All right,
There it
Jeremy.
is.
Jeremy.
Bradford.
Jeremy.
Hey, bud.
Jeremy.
Brad, can you hear me?
Hey, Jeremy.
Hi, bud. What's going on?
Welcome to the Briggity Bro Bobs.
Briggity Bro Bobs. I don't know if that was
I don't think
the
the
intro,
hand.
but we can do that.
I don't think we need the hand gestures.
I don't care what you think we need. I think we need it, and I'm going to go and continue with it. That's what's going on.
What'd you have for dinner tonight?
Some chicken fried rice from a Mexican restaurant.
Chicken fried rice from a Mexican restaurant?
Yeah.
You
Chicken
got
rice. I don't know.
Chinese.
Chicken and
You
rice.
got Chinese
Look,
from a
I'm not.
Mexican restaurant.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Mildly intoxicated still to this time. I went with some friends to go see a movie, The Exorcist: Believer. Before we went, I had a couple
The
drinks.
colon believer?
Yeah, the colon believer. Trust me, it got real weird. We had a couple drinks.
Was there a colonoscopy in this?
Went to the movie, had some more drinks.
Uh-huh.
And that's where we are. What did you have for dinner, bud?
Indian.
You had an Indian. I don't know if that's culturally insensitive or not. It's kind of not nice.
I had Indian food, Jeremy.
Okay, like what specifically?
I had some rice. I had chicken tikka masala. I had a samosa. Naan.
Wow. Did
That
you
was
get it all to
fantastic.
go, or did you eat at the restaurant?
To go. So
Makes me want to go get some Indian food, not Indians to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just not nice.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah. How's your running been going, man?
Pretty awful. I am literally falling apart.
Yeah, I don't envy you. So
I went to the doctor Monday for my right knee.
yeah.
They're pretty sure that I'm going to need surgery with another torn meniscus, which just verifies that I was hopping in our race.
No, it does not verify you were hopping.
It sure does. It sure does. And then I went for my left leg today with my sciatica issues.
With your ass?
I've got like 2 months of physical therapy. I've got to go.
So buff in the next 2 months.
I've got to go for an ultrasound, and then from the ultrasound, I may have a cortisone shot or surgery. So
for your ass?
I was telling Stephanie and the kids they're gonna have like either like like something that you would cut into a safe with.
Jesus Christ.
Like, can you imagine them going in with a scalpel and they just keep breaking it?
Dude, I went and got my flu shot earlier this week. And I told him, I was like, guys, like you might as well have like 15 to 20 needles there, because I'm sure that at least half of them are going to bend when you're trying to get into these bad boys. I pointed and they just shook their head and they looked away.
It just popped you?
Yeah. It looks like we only needed one guy.
I'm thinking like one of those laser cutters.
You're so dumb, dude. So what exactly are they going to do if they need to do surgery for that? Like, what are they going to do? I don't even know.
He's concerned that there's like, that they wouldn't be able to free up my sciatic nerve, mainly because my butt is so powerful. And that they would literally need to go in and separate the sciatic nerve from the muscles.
From the butt muscles. They're just so strong they're sucking the nerve in? Dang.
Not
you
in
got
my butthole, just my butt cheeks.
yeah, say you got real sucky butt.
Holy moly, Jeremy.
Dude, that's unfortunate. So if you have to get surgery for that, that's gonna obviously be probably, I would imagine, gonna be a longer recovery than just your meniscus.
I mean, with those liquid laser cutters, I mean, I can't imagine it's going to be a small wound.
What happens if they lop off your ass cheek? Because lasers generally, like, you once you start a laser, it doesn't stop.
Right. Here's what I'm honestly thinking. I ran the last race on my left leg, hopping. After my meniscus surgery, now my right will be freed up. So,
Fair enough. Look, I appreciate that you're like ambidextrous in your legs. Like you've got lots of skills going on there.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing by the end of either way, I'm guessing now I'll be dunking on both legs.
Dunking with both off of both
Right.
legs?
Yeah. Right.
You can't,
Like
Brad. You can't even
I can
touch the
go
net.
left as my lead jump or right. Boom. Dunking.
Brad, you can't even touch the net. What are you talking about?
I watch me.
I've watched you many times, and you can't touch the net.
Mm-hmm.
As a 5'10" guy, I would imagine like it's pretty embarrassing to not be able to touch the net. So you're gonna get bionics. Is essentially what you're having happen. You know you can't beat me out right now. You saw what happened in our 5K, and you're like, "Hey, doctors, make me bionic."
Again, that petition has been filed. I'm
Brad,
100% confident that it's coming back my way.
I can see what happened. So you saw me beat you. You came up with this excuse before the race, and then you went and you hurt yourself on purpose after the race to say, "Hey, look, the doctor said I
I
need
was hurt
surgery,"
in the
and
race,
to become
Jeremy.
bionic.
I was hurt in the race. And so, with all of that, I've had a couple of good runs this week,
Yeah,
which I think just,
your mileage is
again,
pretty good.
not too bad. I didn't run today. My left leg was killing me today.
I shouldn't have run today. I absolutely just, it was not good. I got in just over 3 miles in 30 minutes. I walked half of that time. It was bad. I was struggling. Like I could not get it going. At first, it was really warm outside, and it's just been really warm this week. And second, I just didn't feel it at all. My body was just not having it. So I listened a little bit, cut it off at 30 minutes, and that's where we are.
And how's the rest of the training? You did a tempo yesterday?
Kind of. Yeah. Uh,
You started a tempo?
I started a tempo. It was supposed to be a steady state, to be honest, and it was supposed to be between 727 and 748 pace or something like that. My first mile was 729.
So, what
My
is
second
steady state versus tempo?
tempo is closer to race pace.
So, what's
Steady
steady
state,
state?
steady state is like supposed to be a little slower than that.
What's threshold?
Threshold for steady state is somewhere like 80% versus.
So, there's a steady state threshold,
Well, that's what I made it because I'm
and
an
then there's
idiot.
a threshold.
There's a threshold, and then there's a steady state, and then there's race, and there's sub race. Um, there's VO2 max in there somewheres.
Do you
I
know
don't
what
know.
any of these are?
Nope. Look, I told you. Look, I have been running for now 25, 26 years. Everything is just a tempo run. If I'm doing a workout that's not reps, it's a tempo run. It doesn't matter if it's 10 seconds faster than or slower than race pace, all the way up to a minute and a half slower than race pace. It's a tempo run. I don't know the difference. I'm sorry, people who are listening. I probably should know, but I don't. I don't know what to
Pathetic.
tell you.
So the training's been going okay, or what?
But it has been going okay. I'll still be at like 31 miles this week. Um, I just feel I outside of yesterday and today, I felt really good. Um, I don't know if I'm going to run tomorrow. We'll see. And if I don't, then obviously the mileage will come down a little bit. But Sunday's still supposed to be a long run, and Sunday's supposed to be really nice here in the 60s as a high. Like today was in the 80s.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So,
let's get into it, Jeremy.
all right. Well, I don't know. Again,
This
this is
is
much
this
like
is
what we
your
did
week.
last week.
Right. This is your week for the topic.
Yeah, we're going to talk about toenails. So, what do you
That's
think
your
about
topic
toenails,
for
Brad?
the week. That's your
What's that?
topic for the week.
What do you feel about toenails? Are you
I
pro?
don't think I don't I
Oh,
don't think
geez.
that they're necessary.
No, I agree. I agree.
Okay.
We don't
Good
need them.
podcast.
I think it is, Mom. Why don't you go let her in? She's seen you in your undies before.
But have the neighbors.
Go let Mom in. Just go let Mom in. Jeez Louise. He's coming in here with a cape. For a blanket for a cape. Anyway. What? So it's really, truly your topic decision.
My topic decision.
Yeah, it's your decision on topics. Topic decisions, decision on topics. Synonymous. A
All right.
reversal of word order.
We'll go. I've got let me see here.
Oh God.
22 possible questions.
Okay.
So, I think I'm just going to randomize these. Like just
So
call
just
out
questions? We're just answering questions.
bingo, hot takes. Throw out a number.
Out of 22,
Yep,
12.
12.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh man. Look at that.
Good pick, Jeremy.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
This is a good one. I might have wanted to save this one till later, but
We
we'll
can
jump.
save it, Brad.
Nope.
Here, how
Nope.
about number
No.
6?
Stop. No.
Okay, fine.
Number 12. Long run distance for marathon.
Okay.
So what would be a recommended either minimum or maximum distance for a marathon?
Good question. Great question. I think minimum you go 16 miles. That gives you 10 miles left over. If you're in it to complete a marathon without a care in the world about time, you just want like it's something on your bucket list, you want to go out and you just want to accomplish that distance. I think if you get in 16 miles, the first truly the first 10 are going to take care of themselves, right? So then you have that 16 miles under your belt. Is the last 10 miles going to suck? Big time. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. So I think 16 miles at a minimum. Like I've done it with less than that. I've done it with 11 miles, and let me tell you, it was less than fun. I guess at 11 then, but you want to have some fun. Maximum 75 miles probably for a long run.
Get the hell out of here.
Over distance is ideal. Get out there and run for like 15 hours and like make it work. No, I don't know. For a long run, I don't think you have to get to 26 miles to do a good job. I think like 24 would be fine. I think getting close is a big like mental boost.
Yep.
What about you, Brad?
So I would say you can get away with 16.
What?
16 miles?
Where?
It's caveated. I would say like 18 if you're doing like quality long runs, not just going out to finish a long run.
Yeah.
Like 18, you can race a hard marathon with doing quality 18 milers. That's where you top out.
Like, what do you say when you say quality? What do you say? What do you mean by
85 to 90% of your marathon pace?
So it's not an easy run.
Correct.
So
it's not just going out and
I see it.
And then you can kind of like bookend this. You can pre-fatigue your legs the day before. So do like an 8-mile run the day before, like say in the evening. You wake up on, if your long run's on Saturday, wake up on Saturday morning after an evening 8-miler and run 16 so that you've pre-fatigued your legs.
Yeah. Like how? So when you say like to go out and do a legitimate like good effort long run, how
Yep.
do you have to do that for every long run, or is that like
No, that would be your like your peak long run.
so like that's like the run that you're gearing up
Yeah,
toward to
3 weeks
prepare
out.
yourself for the marathon?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And then for like the back end of it, for the longest, it would all be how fast you can run a marathon. So if you're Iliad Kipkeji, you can run 2.5 hours, like not at your marathon pace, and run probably 28 miles.
Like, yeah, and
And
not
so,
feel too fatigued by it.
right. And he's not putting himself in an injury risk that you're running for more than 3 hours where your body fatigues so much that you're injury prone. So,
Yeah.
but for the majority of people, I think 20 is probably like the number. And then the faster you like, the more sub 3 you are, the closer you can get to marathon
Right.
distance.
Yeah, yeah. So no more than 3 hours though is what you're saying
Correct.
for a run.
Yeah. Yeah.
I I get that. So I should be able to cover, I don't know, 50 or 55 miles in that time.
In a week, sure. Um, what's it? Give me another number, Jeremy.
Oh Jesus. I said 12 already, and we're going to what number?
22.
21.
Ooh. All right. Another good one, Jeremy.
I'm on a roll.
Wow. Quitting races. When's it
Like in the
okay?
middle of the race.
Yep. It
All
can't
right.
like is there ever a good time other than the obvious, like you rupture your Achilles?
Is there ever a good time to quit a race? I would venture to say, yeah, because I've done it a lot. I've not done it for anything short. So like a 5K, a mile, 10K, even half marathon. Actually, matter of fact, I've never quit a marathon. But I think once you start getting up there and you're putting a lot of time on feet and you're just like, it's not working for you. Like, what's the purpose of if you're at 13 miles or 15 miles of a marathon to say, I've got 11 miles left and this is going to take me 2.5 hours to get done? Like, what benefit is that giving to you? First, it's not like it's going to be mental, like, it's going to be just as mentally defeating as dropping out, right? And it's going to probably not benefit you physically. It's going to put you in such a hole that you're not going to come out of it anytime soon. So I would say there is a benefit. Like, yes, you can drop out. If you're not feeling
What
it,
if it's a goal race?
okay, just find a new goal.
So if
Like, what
you've
you mean, like
trained for an
Boston?
entire, say, 2 years to run your first marathon, and then that marathon doesn't go well, including, say, like the race starts and your gels fall out of your pocket. And so,
Okay,
like,
that's something that you can get over. But what? Let's say that you're at this race and it's 80 degrees.
uh huh.
Like you're not doing well. You're starting to feel like really down, and your body's not handling the heat well. Like, why push it? Like, I know everybody's all about the David Goggins nonsense. Like, just run until you can't run anymore. I'm gonna run until my legs shatter, and then I'm gonna keep on running.
I'll
Like,
die
no,
on the, I'll die on that marathon course.
yeah, I don't like. I like. Look, I don't have anything to prove, and I don't think anybody has to go out there to prove anything. You're proving something to yourself. And if you don't have a like, if you don't finish a race, it doesn't say that you're not a good runner, and it doesn't say you're not fit. It just means it wasn't your day, and that's okay. You're allowed to have not your day race. Like even elite level athletes have not finished races before. They've dropped out, and that's something that they've
Why,
been gearing
I
toward.
think that you find elites are more prone to dropping out of races than amateurs
Why do you think that is?
because they're so time conscious that if, like, you even see this in the Olympic trials. So Sarah Hall dropped out of the last Olympic trials because it wasn't her day. And
Yeah,
so then recovering from a marathon, even at an elite level, is a 2 week process at a minimum.
yeah,
So if you're already not making the team, it's already not your day. Like, why spend another minute on the course when you can go make money a month and a half later without the recovery time?
that's right.
So for them,
So are you?
it's all about peak performance, and if you're not getting the peak performance, it's not worth having it on there.
So that's your mentality as well. Is it's okay to drop out of a race if it's not going the way it needs to go. If you risk running in, like if you risk injury, if you risk like a potential like months long recovery because you put yourself in such a hole, which is possible.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to say. So say if
I think the longer the race,
so
the easier it is
put
to
it in
say to
this.
drop out.
Sure, put it in this scenario. You go to a marathon, your family comes out to see you, your mom's there, you've got like your sister there, all these people travel to see you, and then are you going to drop out of that race even if you're not doing well?
Potentially, yeah. Like I don't have the, I don't, I. It's just all ego if you don't, and like sure, running is about your ego because ultimately, why else are you doing it? I mean, I know people do it for fitness and it's like all that, but once you get to a certain level, it's all about your ego. And if you have such a fragile ego to say that you dropping out means that you're not as good a runner as you are, like
So, but don't you
again, that
think you accomplish sometimes just something by finishing? Like there's real
yes.
merit in finishing?
I think again though, I think it depends on the length of the race. I think can you like if your 5K is not going according to plan, can you slog through the last mile and a half? Yeah, there's not a whole lot of downside to that, right? You learned something, you got over it, you finished the race, it's no big deal. And a 10K, can you finish the like you're not feeling it at 4 miles? Can you finish the last 2 miles and just finish it out? Sure, but if you're like I said, if you're 10, 15 miles into a marathon and you know you still have potentially an hour plus, 2 hours plus of running left, like what what's the purpose? What's the purpose? I've done a 50. I've signed up for 24 hour races. I've stopped well before 24 hours. Like I got to a point where I had to have an ambulance called on me. Should I have kept on going? No, because I couldn't. My body wasn't taking in water. I was vomiting everything up I was taking. I was cramping up to a point where I could barely move. Like what? Like I couldn't have even gone if I wanted to. But there are some people who would be, oh, you need to go ahead and stick to it. No, it doesn't make any sense.
All
So
right.
I'm a firm believer in trying your best, but sometimes it's okay to say that your best is to say that you didn't finish.
All right. Give me another number.
Oh, two.
2. Well, I might not have written that one right. So we'll go to 1.
Okay.
What uh what's your best mental like trick or tip in a race?
That's a good one. And I would say that I'm pretty weak mentally. But the times that I've been very oh my gosh, Elliot.
Help!
Uh
All of you help me!
oh. That's it. I pretend like my head is popped off and then I don't have to think anymore. All right, go away.
I'm smart. Can you see?
Um well, that was good. I couldn't figure that out. Maybe because I was a little intoxicated. Anyway, I think it's just about like I like to tell myself to just calm down. Like I find myself like when I'm starting to really hurt, I get all wrapped up in it, and then I start breathing harder, and then I just have to take a second, take like as deep a breath as I possibly can, and just say calm down, and that's really what works for me. And it works for I don't know a couple of minutes anyway, and then, and then I have to do it again. But it's kind of what racing is all about anyway. It's like staying in the moment, and if I get wrapped up in it and I just have to calm myself down every I don't know 2 minutes, then that's okay. But I just have to remind myself, calm down. When you run relaxed, you run fast, and that's why I run so fast because I'm always relaxed.
Mm,
So I calm
okay.
myself down frequently.
So
What about you?
every race you do this that's what you
I
go to.
do. I tell myself, even in my easy, like even on my runs, and I find myself like out there pushing too hard. I tell myself to calm down. It's just something that I guess I've made just common in my everyday running scenarios.
Okay.
What about you, Brad?
I feel like I don't like. I genuinely believe this. You can't just have one trick. That you have to have like a a full arsenal of things that are ready to go because just some races you can't get over a mental hump.
So look, I have another one. I find when I
That's
need
what
to
I just
speed,
asked you.
I know. I find when I need to speed up, I just fart. It's like a jet propulsion. It's like that physical boost is also a mental boost. You look so disgusted right now. Go ahead, Brad. I'll let you go to it. Tell us your arsenal. That quiver that you carry around with you. What does it hold?
So I like just breaking the race down as small as you need it for like to continue moving forward. So in a marathon could be a mile or a 1K repeat. Just say, well, listen, like let's just get to the next K or the next mile and we'll reevaluate the race. If
And
we
there's
need
only
this
42 Ks in
right.
a marathon, so
And
that's not a lot.
so, but you're usually using mental tricks on the second half of every race, whether it's a
Yeah, it's
marathon,
not.
a 5K, or
It's never the first half. So you're right. Like 21K.
yeah. And so, uh, I always give myself an opportunity, like an out at the next aid station mile K. Just say, well, listen, like I'm not feeling good now, but let's maintain like our goal pace till this next interval, and then we'll reevaluate. If we need to walk, like, let's just figure out a way to get through this K. And inevitably, you get to the next K and you still feel terrible, and you go, okay, well, I can probably go just one more, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I find once you walk though, like it's broken. Like
Yeah, but I mean,
once you walk the first time, it's much easier to walk the second time and then the 15th time.
I get it, but I give like so at grandma's, I gave myself that out and never walked.
Yeah. Well,
Like
it's because you
it
didn't.
was just the mental knowing that if I get to that K, I'm giving myself like an allowance that if I need to walk, I can walk. And that just kept me like hitting pace after pace after pace instead of saying, well, if I slow down, like if I slow down 5 seconds a mile, I'll still be under 3, but how many seconds do you get to give up? And is it 5 seconds really going to make me feel any better? Like slowing down never seems like the rational way to take it. For me, it's pretty much always all or nothing. So get to the next mile at race pace, and then like if you're blown up, all right, that's it. Like we made it as far as we can. So I personally like breaking it down as short as possible when things are going bad. I like having mantras going into the race, whether it's like like you deserve this. I've trained for this. Uh, like whatever it is. If you've watched Rocky, some
Yeah.
Rocky creed of carrying a log or whatever it is, like trying to think of some of the other. A lot of times, I'll find myself like I get super excited in the middle of a race where I know, like, I'm not hyperventilating, but I know that I'm like tensing up. So I just hold
Yeah.
my breath. Like, I find it easier to like manage where I'm at by just holding my breath because it's a conscious effort of knowing that I'm controlling what's happening. That my,
Yeah.
my, it's not running away from me. If you can hold your breath, you're still in full control of everything that's happening.
100%. My wife mentioned to not make any hard, like rash decisions while going uphill.
Okay, I like that.
Don't do that. Like going uphill, you might feel okay, but they always say, look, my friend Jen, she says, uphill for show, downhill for dough. Like just run like stay the same effort uphill. Like that's a mental thing. Like you don't have to crush it up the hill. You're not gaining anything by doing that except for putting yourself in a hole. Crush it downhill. Crush it downhill.
One of the other tricks that I do is I assume everything is going to be awful on the second half or like somewhere along the race that I'm going to lose. Like if it's a marathon, that I'm going to lose all of my gels and
Yeah.
that I'm just going to have to like I basically resign myself to the fact that it's going to go bad, that I'm going to feel terrible at mile 18, and I'm just going to have to figure it out. Like typically resign myself to that in literally any race distance. That if it's not going perfect, that's just those are the breaks.
Well, that's the race too, right? So
Yeah.
that's right.
So
That's good.
so number two is they're essentially tied together. This is probably going to be a quick one. So do you do the same tricks in training?
I told, yeah, I do. I always get really wrapped up in like the very beginning of my runs, and I push it way too hard often. So I have to remind myself just to kind of calm down. That's what I do in the race. Just like you said, kind of like I take a deep breath. That deep breath again is kind of like reminding me that I have to like concentrate on what I'm actually doing, and I an active participant in my race and not just my body. And I just tell myself to calm down. I probably do that 5 times a run for every single run, regardless if it's easy or not. So, um, yeah, every single run, regardless if it's a race, if it's just an easy run, like it's always just to calm down. And sometimes I find myself, I tell myself, especially on my runs where they don't really matter, they're the easy runs. I just find like I just tell myself to walk if I get so wrapped up that I can't like truly calm down, because you'll say calm down, and for 5 seconds your body like you actively like
Just
make
reset.
yourself
Yeah.
slow down, and then you look down in like half a minute and you're running even faster than you were before to make up for that calm down. So it's just sometimes I just find myself that I have to, it's okay to walk if you need to get yourself like caught up. So
So
what about you, Brad?
in training, I find that I go, um, I don't really use the same mental gameplay that I do in racing. I just always relate it to racing. So, well, of course it's gonna of course the next three intervals are just gonna be awful. Like that's
Yeah.
what the end of a race is like. So just break it down. You know that next interval is finite. So
Yeah.
figure out how to get through this next interval, then figure out how to get through the rest period, and like a bit like the racing that
Yeah.
if you're second to last interval isn't on pace, just kind of is what it is. So
Right.
in the moment I just say, well, this is what racing is like. This is the mental grind of being tough at the end of a race. Or I'm envisioning what like a race that I've been in, how I know it's going to be at the end of the race, et cetera, et cetera. And then back to racing, I'm typically then thinking of, well, your training has been this exact same way when it's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I find that, outside of just getting your body ready for the specific paces, like those workouts are helping you get ready for the end of the race. The beginning and the middle of the race generally take care of themselves. It's like that last 30% that's really, really you have to like concentrate and know that the work that you've done has gotten you to the point where you can do the work that's left. So, yeah.
Give me another number, Jeremy.
6.
6.
Are you keeping tabs of what we have done?
Yep.
Because I'm not.
No worries. So, is there a thing as too much or too little, like running knowledge of training, of, like physiology or anything?
I think no. As you can tell by how much knowledge I have about the different types of workouts and stuff, I don't think there is. I think you like too much. Is there too much? I mean, unless you get so like in your own head where you're like questioning everything you do and you don't like it just doesn't work. I think that could be a detriment. And I think if you have such little knowledge that you just go out and crush like every single run and you get yourself injured, that's not good. But I think anything in between no knowledge and all knowledge is fine. I don't think that there's too much or too little. I've run for, like I said, 26 years, and I truly don't know a whole lot. I know for my runners, I know what I'm supposed to get them to do, and I know the purposes of the workouts. But for my own training, and I couldn't tell you why I'm doing half the stuff I'm doing anyway. I just assume that if I can do the mileage will get me where I need to be, because I do know that I'm naturally faster than I am naturally stronger. So if I can at least get the strength up, my speed is still there. So I don't really worry too much about the speed portion of it. I just worry about making sure that I have the mileage. Um,
All
so
right, then
I've always felt like that, even in high school.
so that leads me to another question that you probably have no idea how to answer because you
I don't
know
know.
too little about running. So do you
Okay, go
focus
ahead.
should you be focusing on, I think this is more geared towards like high performance runners, whether this is in high school or collegiate or post collegiate, and less to like age group marathon runners. So because
Yeah.
in age group marathon runners, like there's not going to be like an overwhelming difference of training blocks. So, but do you focus on the strengths of a runner or the weaknesses of a runner to get the best out of them?
I think you have to concentrate on both. Like again, as the coach for my younger athletes, I look at what they do well, and for some workouts, I want them to come away feeling really good about themselves, right? And to kind of gear them toward the say, hey, this is where we're good at. This is what we're going to work on. This is going to be like if you're good at strength, let's go ahead and do some instead of doing like 200s, we'll do 400s, right? Because I think it'll benefit you, and we're still getting maybe a little more distance out of them, and then for the kids who are good at the short stuff, I'm like, let's go and just have fun and just like throw it down for a little bit. But then I also know that for them to be successful, depending on their race, you have to have a little bit of what you don't have. So we work on those things. Like I said, though, like I don't really work on a whole lot of speed. I couldn't tell you the last time I've done like 400-meter repeats. Most of my work truly just comes from the runs that I put in. What about you, Brad?
I believe just like in life, you don't neglect the other half. Like you don't neglect your weaknesses, but you don't spend much time on them either. So you like in the business world, I live by this credo, and I think it's applicable in sports as well. So like is if I used a basketball analogy, Steph Curry, I, I think it's hard to argue otherwise, but the greatest shooter arguably in NBA history.
Yeah.
So in his weakness would be say like vertical jumping and being able to dunk. So is he better off spending 8 hours in the gym shooting threes or working on his weakness, which is his vertical?
Right. But does that changes though with like our athletes? So we could have two completely different athletes in the same race though. So basketball, yes,
Uh,
you're a long shooter versus a person who's in the post.
Yeah, but
But for
that's why people need different training programs. That like
yes,
having a speed-based program for somebody like you is going to maximize who you are. So you can build speed endurance, which is still focusing on speed.
yes, and that's why I'm not a good coach for myself. Truly, because I don't listen or I don't pay attention. But yeah, like you said, I've got on my team, I've got two kids who run my 800, who are my best two 800-meter runners, and they couldn't be more different, right? One of them is like a 52-second quarter miler, which is good. It's a
Yep.
solid team time, and the other one is like a 57-second quarter miler, right? So there's a pretty significant gap there. That's 5 seconds. Um, the 57-second quarter miler is a faster 800-meter runner because it's mentally super strong. He's really like just tough. He's
Strong.
a tough kid
Yeah.
and he's strong, and he can just go for a longer time at his more closer to his maximal effort. Versus my 52-second kid who kind of peters out at the end. Um, I give them two different workouts, but I know they're running the same race. It's just kind of what you have to do. You have to find, like, for people who are listening, you have to find what type of runner you are and kind of what works for you and kind of
Well, two, it changes all the time. Like,
does it though? You're either
yes,
fast or you're not.
that is
You
not
can't
true.
make
You,
somebody a sprinter, Brad.
Jeremy, you cannot train the same way that you did in college.
False.
Fact.
I'll prove it.
Fact. Then why aren't you training like that?
Because I don't like drinking as much as I used to. Outside of tonight,
As evidenced by today.
but outside of tonight, I haven't had probably a beer since June.
Uh huh.
So I can, yeah.
You can train like you did in college. Okay. Sure.
I don't know that I even got up to 40 miles a week in college. I doubt that I did.
Okay.
30 miles a week, probably not even
So why
25,
aren't you doing that now?
because I don't want to.
Okay. Give me another number, you numbskull.
23.
It's 22 question list, Jeremy.
I thought it was 23. 22. I swear you said 23, but that could just be the
No.
alcohol.
I'm now will splice back in that let me mark this clip right here. Boom. Done. Okay. What about running a race as a training run? So like signing up, paying for a race and running a race as a training run.
Why?
What if you don't want to run by yourself? What if you have a long run and you go run a half marathon so that at least there's like some competitive environment, there's people around you, but there's no
But
pressure
how
of running
many,
in the race.
how, be true to yourself and to us. Could you honestly go to a race just for a training run and keep it at training run pace?
I've done it.
Idiot. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. There's no way. I would get so wrapped up, even if I meant to keep it easy, even if I did keep it what I would consider easy, the
So
pace would
you're
be far
saying
faster than I would have.
you could never be a pacer in a race.
I could be, because I wouldn't be racing it. I would be. The
So
purpose
what's the
of that
difference
would be for
between
me to
that and
pace other
doing a
people.
training run?
Because a training run, I get competitive. If I'm pacing, I'm not competing against anybody. I'm helping people get to their goal. It's two different things. The mindsets are completely different.
Wow. You
Look,
really
I
have
am
a
a nuanced.
limited mental vocabulary of working through here.
I am a nuanced person. I
It doesn't sound like it.
quite actually. I
No.
can help pace people because I'm not competing against them. But even if I were to
So
go
what
in,
if you
say,
just announced it on a shirt and you said, I'm on a training run?
doesn't matter. I would be chasing those people who are right beside me or right in
So,
front
but
of me.
if you were carrying a sign, you wouldn't be chasing people.
No, because I have a specific pace to keep for those people.
Just like a training run.
Even on my easy days by myself, Brad, I never run the pace that I know that I should run. If there's somebody for me to chase, it's going to be even worse.
Oh my God.
That's my issue. It's
You
an
are.
issue that I have for sure, but it's
Oh,
what I have.
100%.
I think
100%.
for people who it works for, have at it. I'm a firm believer though of using races as tune-ups in preparation for the race upcoming. So I'm probably going to run a 5K or an 8K before the 10K that we have in December.
All right.
And run it hard so I see where I am.
All right. I won that piece of it. That number 22 goes to Brad.
You didn't
Let me
even
make a
say
note.
anything, Brad.
I did. I said that you can run it as a training run. In fact, you should. Hold
I
on.
don't think you should.
Brad won. Quitting races. Did we agree on that?
I don't think you ever came out and said that you can quit races. I know I did.
I think you can quit races.
Okay.
So that one's a tie. So I'm up 1-0. Long run distance for marathon. I won that one. I know.
What are you talking
Hold on. Let me make my notes. Jeremy, be quiet. Too much or too little running knowledge.
You
I don't
didn't say
think I
anything about
answered
that.
this one. I didn't answer this one.
No, you didn't.
So there really, I really believe that there's some beauty in like the dumb athlete.
Thanks for calling me beautiful.
So that they just show up, they run, like they have no idea, like it every day is just an experience for them that they like don't read into anything. It's just go out there and do it. Like I think there's some merit to that. I personally just don't want to be that person. So I won that one. There's
Wait, I've got a question to follow up on that though.
Yeah,
Do you think that the just straight up person who has no knowledge will eventually get knowledge through their running, like through doing it more often?
Mm-mm.
No, not unless they're actually actively seeking it out.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So like if you had zero knowledge and every day you showed up and you asked, why are we doing this workout?
Right. But where do you think the initial knowledge came from, Brad? It wasn't there for other people to learn. We had to figure it out as
Yeah, but running is like all of these things are always an experiment. So it's it's an experiment of one. Like so
so
if you
is
have a
knowledge
group
even
of
knowledge then?
oh my God.
Is knowledge
Socrates
knowledge in
over
that
here.
regard? If everything's an experiment, there is no fact. There are no facts. So then everything you do is a benefit regardless of what you've done. The outcome tells you what's going to happen next or what should happen next. Yeah. So
So
in that case,
can we
either
agree
everything
that
is knowledge or nothing
can
is knowledge.
can we agree on the fact that you have to run to be a good competitive runner?
Well, sure.
Oh, okay. Well, there's one fact of running.
Okay, that's the only one we have. That's the only one. The only like I don't know. Let's find somebody who hasn't run, who doesn't run, who's just actively fit. Have them
Okay.
go out and race us, and I bet you that
But
they
can
would
they
whoop us up.
maximize their potential? This is about
Did you
maximizing
ask if
potential.
they were maximizing their potential? I don't think we're maximizing our potential because we don't have a coach who's there. We're not
Jeremy, I have
following it.
100% maximized my potential in that 5K. You name me one person in the world that can run 22:07 on hopping on one leg.
I don't know of anybody who can because you sure didn't either.
And then back to the running mental tips, I won that one. And same as training. Yep. Okay, give me another number, Jeremy.
9.
9. 9. Ooh, good one, Jeremy. I mean, I think even we can acknowledge that my episode of picking a topic has been drastically better than yours.
No, I can't. Ken said that this is the best one.
Because he
The
hasn't
one that I
heard this
chose.
one yet.
The one that I chose was the best.
Because he
He's gonna
hasn't
like
heard
this
this
one
one yet.
because of what I have to say, and because I'm mildly
I don't.
intoxicated,
I don't.
and I'm pulling
All right.
verbiage out of my butthole.
Number 9. Can you be the GOAT without a world record or gold medal?
Ooh, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can be the goat for 15 years being the second best runner of all time, like behind everybody, and those people come and go, and they don't have the longevity of that you have. For sure, you can be the goat. Absolutely.
So who
Look,
was? Wait,
so
hold on.
so let's go back to the basketball analogies.
Mhm.
Michael Jordan, he's not the best scorer of all time, right?
Okay.
LeBron James is. But he's widely considered to be the GOAT.
Okay.
Look at me like
So,
I'm
but LeBron has been playing longer than Jordan.
Uh-huh.
So the longevity piece that you just said, like being second best for longer. So you're telling me that LeBron is actually the GOAT?
Sure. I did not say that Michael
You just said he's widely
I
recognized.
merely said he's considered by many to be the GOAT.
So, but they both have championships. So let's look at it specific.
Let's look at it. The GOAT of the mile?
100%.
Could he potentially be the GOAT of all time? Possibly, because he's awesome. He's had the world record.
He wasn't finishing second, though.
He has finished second, though.
He won the Olympics in the 1500 and the 5000. He holds a world record.
What about
all those things point to GOAT?
Not Hisham. What about Jakob Ingebrigtsen? He doesn't have the world record in the mile. Maybe he's the best
not the GOAT.
Maybe he's the GOAT.
He's
the best runner. Look at his.
He's the best runner right now. He's the best runner of this generation.
But he is head and shoulders better than anybody who's come before him. Maybe he doesn't have the record in the mile. He's got the record in the 2000.
Is he better than Hisham El Garouche?
Yeah.
He just hasn't run as fast.
That's
and
right.
According to you, he has super shoes, a better track, and pacing lights.
That's right. But he's broken
he's the GOAT. Record. He has all of these benefits, and he's still the and hasn't run faster, but he's still the GOAT.
He's got the 2,000 meter record. He's got the 2 mile record. Does he have the 3,000 meter record? I don't know if he does or not. I'm sure he must be close. If he doesn't, he's close in the 15, right? The 10K he's run sub 28.
So
Like,
so like all of those years that you had
on the roads, by the way,
Usain Bolt winning the 100
goat,
200.
goat sprinter.
Again, but he won everything. You're saying you could be second for long with a longer longevity, which the second was Justin Gatlin. So by your methodology, Justin
But he's
Gatlin
the
is the
cheat.
GOAT.
He's the cheat.
He came back after
I
cheating.
didn't say the people who are second are the goats. I'm saying that
You said
if
they
you have
could.
longevity and you are at the top of the game and you are right there every single step of the way, and maybe it doesn't work for you in the Olympics, and maybe it doesn't work for you in the World Championships, and maybe you don't have a world record, but you've won an awful lot. Let's say you win 95% of the races you're in, and you've been racing for 15 years, and you're throwing down, and you're just a tenth of a second off of a world record.
So name me
But
one
you're beating-
person that's a GOAT that meets that criteria. You can't do it.
Michael Johnson.
Michael Johnson won everything, including
But he-
having world records in the 400
But he
and
doesn't
the
have it
200.
anymore. He doesn't have it anymore. He doesn't have anything anymore. He doesn't have the American record. He doesn't have the world record, and the 200 anyway.
I get it. So, but he had all
He's
of
the
those
GOAT.
things.
He's the best runner. He's the best sprinter there ever has been.
Best 400 runner.
No, he's not, because he doesn't hold the world record.
What happened to if you finish second every time, like you keep coming back to?
Look, things change.
You told me you don't have to. Well, hold on. You told me repeatedly you don't have to have a world record. What if just on that day you don't have it? You have to be the GOAT. You have to have. I'm willing to concede possibly on the gold medal component, even though I think that's going to be a weak argument. But to never have been the best in the world, you cannot possibly be the GOAT. You are automatically eliminated.
You have to hold the world record to be the best in the world?
It doesn't have to be in perpetuity.
But what happens if you have the fastest times in the world, just not a world record? And then the times that you get to the world championships, you don't win, right? So that's the Olympics and the world championships. You don't win.
In track and field, the longest win streak in the world, Moses Malone. Or Moses, is Moses, who's a hurdler?
Moses. What is his name? Moses Johnson, probably.
It's not Edwin Moses.
That's it. That's what I said.
Moses Malone, I think. Who's that? Post Malone's dad?
Who is Moses Malone? He's famous.
Is he a basketball player?
Look, I'm awful at sports.
Edwin Moses had world records, Olympic gold medals, and longevity. I'm not saying you have to have, like, it's impossible to hold a world record forever, but you have, like, you can't be finishing second to a world record holder and not winning races and be considered a GOAT. The two are part and parcel. Look, you know, like,
okay, maybe that's where that's where I went wrong. You don't have to currently hold a world record in order for you to be the GOAT.
That's another win for Brad.
But at some point in time,
that one was easy. That was so easy for me to win.
No, I think the world record piece is important, but I don't think the world championships and the Olympic gold are necessary. I think if you podium for those guys, but you hold a world record, that makes a valid argument.
Okay, so is for U.S. distance running, particularly in the 1500
like
and the
Bob
mile.
Kennedy,
hold on.
GOAT in the 5K for Americans.
Right.
But he doesn't. Okay. So he never held a world record.
But he held U.S. records.
He did.
And so you said he's the GOAT for U.S.
He's not an Olympic like gold medalist in the 5K.
I think he finished 5th.
Yeah, look. Like,
but hold on. But that's saying U.S. So you're segregating out 90% of the population.
I'm still making a valid point, though.
So no. Here's the point that again is going to prove that I'm going to end up getting 2 points on this same damn argument if you're not careful here, Jeremy. So
you got all the points in.
No, we had a tie. 1500 and the mile. Greatest U.S. runner in like who's the GOAT for U.S. running in
Well, I mean, if we're
1500?
going with that, and you have to put the American record holder that's yarding a goose now.
So it wouldn't be Alan Webb.
I mean, he held it for a long time, so I would think you have to count him in there, and he's a viable option.
So
But he
so
never
long
really performed.
you
He
said
never performed when
longevity.
it was necessary.
You just said that doesn't need to be. That's not
Yeah, but he really underperformed. Like
Okay,
it wasn't
so
just.
are you saying that he is less of a runner than uh uh who was the Olympic bronze medalist out of nowhere, finished in a kick from University of Texas? Manzano?
Oh, Leo Manzano.
No, it wasn't Leo Manzano.
No, so you're talking not out of Texas. Are you talking about what's
Yeah,
his
out
name?
of Texas.
That's Leo. What's it? No, well, what's his name? Geez, we sound like we know a lot about what we're talking
Right.
about here. Jesus. Like what about he won the Olympic gold medal, right? What was his name? Matthew Centrowitz, right?
Matt Centrowitz. So you're
Yeah.
saying Matt Centrowitz, who has an Olympic medal, is better in U.S. history at those distances than I can't
No.
even think of his first name that we talked about.
Alan Webb?
Webb.
No. I just think
He's
Alan
not.
Webb is not the GOAT either.
So who was? So if you're saying Nagusa is now one, he's run one race.
Who's the guy who's broken 4 minutes the most?
Well, he's a Canadian.
Oh, no, that's the American. He's still a North American. He's it.
Oh my god! I can't even think of his name. He ran at University of Michigan.
He's it. That's the guy.
And Canadian Olympian.
Yeah, or it could be what's his Taylor Milne. I think.
Yeah, he was a Canadian Olympian. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
all right,
I'm against him.
Times 2. I won 2 points on that one. Give me another number, Jeremy.
11. Did we already do 11?
Nope.
11.
This is a quick one. You got you got 30 seconds. Energy gels in a half marathon.
Nope. Next.
What if you're running 2 hours?
Nope. Next.
Why don't you get a gel if you're running at 2 hours or 2.5 hours?
You get water. You don't need gels. Next.
Jeremy, after an hour and a half, you start having glycogen, like an impact of diminished glycogen counts.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Then you're so wrong on that. It's automatically a Brad point. Sorry.
I barely take gels on a marathon. Like, I think I'd take a gel.
And you've never performed even close to what you should be running.
I mean, that's just because I'm awesome.
Oh.
I might
that
be the
you
goat
never perform well?
I'm the goat at underperforming.
Okay.
We're good.
Give me another number.
5.
5. Ooh. Good one here. Real good one. So, did you qualify for Boston if you don't meet the time limit? So you met the official time, but you didn't make the cutoff to actually race the race.
Yes.
You're a Boston qualifier?
No, I didn't. You said I'm assuming this is hypothetical.
It's for anybody. So, like if in your age group, the cutoff is 3:10. So, but this year, there was a time cutoff
3:04:31
of 5 minutes 39 seconds or something.
Yeah.
So if you ran 5:0 or 3:08, are you a Boston qualifier?
Yes.
Even though you can't race.
You could register for it. You
right.
couldn't do it. You couldn't do it if you
technically anybody could register for the race, even if you don't have the times.
Right, but you registered for it as somebody who qualified by the original standard. The original standard.
So can you buy a Boston qualifier shirt?
Yeah.
And when people say, "How was the race?" you go, "Well, I ran fast enough. I just didn't get in."
You said Boston qualifier. You didn't say Boston finisher.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm one of those people, but
I'm aware.
All right,
No, I think it's obnoxious. I understand why they do it, but to say that you have to run faster than the qualifying standards, if this is the case and it's normal for you to have to go 5 minutes faster, then just make it 5 minutes faster.
But it's not normal. They have years. It's always moving.
But you're right. But I think more often than not, they always have to. You have to have a buffer.
The last 2
It hasn't
years
been
you didn't.
Well, it's because of COVID shit.
And for the first 20 years, there were no.
But we're not in the first 20 years, and we're not in the past 2 years. Like normally now, the expectation is that you have to have a buffer. Well, we've already talked about it before.
Again,
I'm probably
but
going to have to run 303 just to make sure.
Right.
And that's
so
not
you
even
know
guaranteed.
that. So you know that.
Yes, but that's not even a guarantee. I probably have to go under 3 just to make sure that I do actually get in.
Okay, so you know that.
Yes. Doesn't mean if I run 3:09:58, I didn't qualify. I qualified, I just can't run it.
All right. We've agreed on that. That's a tie.
I don't know. I won that one. Point.
No, you didn't. Give me another number. Give me another number.
Oh, Jesus. 18.
18. Ooh. Dream guest for the Briggity Bro Bobs podcast.
Ooh. A dream guest.
Dream guest. Come on, bring it.
Oh,
they got to be alive. They've got to be alive. No Steve Prefontaine.
Yard Nagoose.
Yared Nagoose? That's your dream guest?
I think I think he's like a really low key guy, and I think he'd be a really cool guy to come in and talk about. Like he's done it all now. Like he has performed on the greatest stages, and he's the greatest American miler there ever has been. Like, and he's not much like he's young, so we can see
Talk
what
about
his perspective.
Just like jumping on a bandwagon of one race and. Holy moly!
Brad, he's not.
Pre him breaking the American record, was he going to be your dream guest?
He would be. I think he would be up there. Yeah, I just like his style. He just goes out.
You've already been disqualified from earning a point on this one.
Wait, who are you going to have?
Bob Kennedy. He's a Bob.
He's a Bob. To be honest, he was my second. He was going to be my number 2.
Well, you should have thrown it out because that could have been a tie for you, but now you've lost the point.
Because we've run with him before.
Well, there's multiple reasons, excluding the fact that like he's a must-have because he's a Bob.
He's a
Bob.
Bob.
He would be on a podcast on the Briggity Bro Bob's podcast, and he'd be the only Bob on the podcast.
That's true. He could make it like legitimate. He would legitimize it.
So, but when he was running the times that he was running, there was truly like no good American distance runners.
Yep.
So, and he was like the pinnacle of running for U.S. distance running for such a long period. He changed like what times were going to be accessible to U.S. runners in distance. He had a shoe, like that. Think about it. Nobody even has a shoe now anymore. He had his own Zoom Kennedy while we were growing up. So like all of the barriers that he broke for U.S. distance runners, at one point he was the fastest non-African born runner in the world.
Of all time, yeah.
Right. So
no, I understand that. Maybe I would have a sprinter. Maybe I would have a sprinter come on. Maybe I would have a sprinter. Maybe we could get like Usain Bolt. That'd be cool.
Well, so if we could pick another guess, I would definitely like to do Noah Lyles. Not Noah Lyles.
Noah Lyles. I know he's the now American record holder for the 200.
Well, it's less about that, and it's less that he's willing to throw around like mildly controversial statements, like he's actually like he's a bit of a heel in track and field. And track and field, for the most part, is the most vanilla thing, and there's very few personalities that are willing to, like Usain Bolt, you knew he was going to win every race. There's very few people that are willing to like be grinding it out and put their name on it, win, lose, or draw, that I'm the best here today and deal with it.
Yeah. That's a good one. I don't know. I mean, Abby Steiner would be cool. Just kind of see where she's come from. I think she would be a pretty cool person to have on.
All right. Give me another number. I won that one too.
20.
This one's pretty weak, I'll be honest. So for you and I running, good content in a race or a fast race?
What do you mean by good like
So
we
like
take
if you
videos and
had to
stuff?
sacrifice up like say from running 303 to 305 because you've got a GoPro for good content, or just running the three like running fast?
Running fast. I'm not all
Okay.
about that content life. I think you can make the content based on your running fast. Like you could do the lead up to it. You can do all that stuff. You can do the recap. You can do all of
Okay.
that. I don't think you need to see
I'd go to content. You inspire more people. It's bigger than
but
just
do
you and
you
I now,
like?
Jeremy. It's
I
really bigger
think
than us right now.
I understand that, but I think that you could do just as much without
No,
having to
no. Sorry,
showcase
you lost.
3 hours of
Give
you
me
running.
another number. Yeah,
I
3 hours. That's not good content.
that's what I'm saying.
This is why I may have to find another podcast partner because you're not worried about the content.
I'm worried all about the content.
So,
14.
well, 14.
Yep.
How about cheering people on while racing?
Nope. You're
No.
my competition. You're my competition. You mean like
That,
when you go by somebody, you say, "Hey, good job."
yeah, come on.
It, I mean, do I do it? Yes. Do I think it's a little
Begrudgingly,
condescending? Do I think it's condescending? I think it's mildly condescending.
as you speed up.
Yes. And I think like to be able like in the middle of a race, there's sometimes where I can't talk. And I think if
Okay.
you come by me and you say, "Hey, good job, let's get going," it just makes me feel like you're just an asshole for like shoving it in my face that you're not working as hard as I am, and yet you're passing me. So like when we did the
This really
Palmetto
feels
200 in
like
particular,
projection.
what's
This
that?
really feels like projection.
I think in the Palmetto 200, I was that guy. So my last leg, I was feeling really good, and I think I ran like 640 pace for the last like leg of the Palmetto 200 for my last leg, and I was just crushing by people because the Palmetto 200 people start in front of you, like groups start
Yep,
hours
yeah.
and hours and hours in front of you, and we're nearing the end, and I'm just like cruising by, like not really working that hard, but working a little bit. I'm like, "Hey, good job, we're almost there." And there's this like struggle bus, and they look over, "Oh, you're running so fast." I'm like, we can do it together. No, we can't because I just crushed you. Like it's just condescending.
Well, the Palmetto is completely different than in other races that you're
But
starting at the same time.
it's a race, though.
Oh my God. Cheering
I
people
win.
on is the least you can do. Point Brad.
Check mark,
Give me
Jeremy.
another number.
6.
I already did it, so we'll go to 7.
Okay, 7.
This is another. The questions I put together are just fire. Like there's no way around this.
I don't like. Are these questions really that good? Do you
They
cheer
are, yeah.
people on?
So is running a 4-hour marathon as hard as running a 205 marathon?
No.
No. Wow.
There are more people who can do a 4-hour marathon than there are who can do a 205. It's
I get it, and they're
statistic.
also not as physically gifted as
It's
people
well,
that are
that's
running.
exactly right. When you say is it harder, what does that mean? Does that mean that you have to have more
Like,
of everything checked
is the
more
effort
boxes?
in the middle and the race as difficult if you're running 4-hour pace as you are running at 205
So
pace?
effort wise, I would say it's comparable. Actually, it's probably harder to run a 4-hour marathon because people who
Bingo.
can run a 205
Bingo. They
probably
have
can
their
run.
water bottles out for them. There's
They
less
do.
time on the course. There's less pounding. They're more efficient. They don't have to take in as much energy gels. Like there's running at 205 pace for as difficult as that is, like effort to effort, the 4-hour is more difficult.
Yeah, but my point is that it's harder to be able to run a 205 than it is to run a 204. I mean a 4 flat.
Well, that's just blatantly obvious based off of the numbers. So you knew that wasn't the question, Jeremy.
Point, Jeremy.
Because I cheer on people in races, I'm going to cheer you on here and give you a half point because
Thank you.
you sort of came back around to the fact that the 4-hour is harder. Next,
4.
give me another number. 4?
Just did. Yeah.
Yeah. Just give me a quick hot take. Post race beers.
as in like do them,
Yeah, are they
or
good? Do you like them?
I don't generally do it because I always feel awful after my races, but I think that it's a good thing to have. Yeah, I think it
Good.
builds a sense of community. Yeah,
Okay. I
I
didn't
think
see
you
you
can.
going there. I
Yeah,
would say, like, I, you know what? I got to agree with you. And
thanks.
because I'm going to cheer you on, I'm going to give you the point because I didn't think of the post, like the community and camaraderie effect afterwards. I
Yeah,
just thought, like, I never think of on a hot day after really exerting myself as a beer is an actual refreshment. Like it just
no,
makes me sick to my stomach right now.
yeah, and I'm not feeling great right now. So like because of the beers I've had, so I definitely don't want to have any right now.
You got a point, Jeremy. Way to go, man.
Thanks, man. I can do it
Nice.
sometimes. Hey,
Give me
thanks for
another
cheering me on.
give me another number.
We're running out, aren't we?
Oh, we got
11,
11 we've done, so I'll go to 10.
10.
Ooh, this is another good. I mean, I'm getting tired of saying this, but this is another good one.
Of course it is.
Is trail and ultra running just becoming competitive now?
Just now, no. I think it's been competitive for a while. I think it's becoming more ubiquitous. I think it's becoming like more like common, but it's not common still to this day. But I think it's seemingly more competitive just because we're hearing more about it. But I think it's always been competitive. Are
False.
times changing? What's that?
False. I'm already
So it's
writing
more
it
competitive
down.
now than it has been in the past.
It has. So one, trail running and ultra running used to just be the novelty of finishing. You know, like they were drinking whiskey back on the course in the
They
old days of
still
ultra running.
do,
Oh, not so Killian Jornet's out there drinking whiskey.
possibly.
No, no, no. You're
Yeah.
just now starting to see people just like how the marathon has become faster and faster because good collegiate runners just now go straight to the marathon. Same thing's happening like with who just won UTMB? Jim Walmsley.
Yeah.
Good, really good collegiate runner that just went straight to ultra marathons.
But Brad, what you're just saying is that times have gotten faster. Doesn't mean it's more competitive. It's less competitive. People were still out there
Competitive.
crushing beforehand. All right, so you're making the assumption that competition and being more competitive means equals faster times, when it's not necessarily the case.
So
So it
it's
was less.
more
Are you saying it
serious.
was less competitive in
Training
this?
is more training is more serious for ultra marathons now than it used to be.
For those people, for more people, yes, but not for the people who are competitive anyway.
And no, who was who was the big U.S. ultra marathoner? Scott Jurek or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes.
Look at him in comparison to Jim Walmsley. It's not even close.
You're making what your argument is that times make you more competitive, not the
Yes,
people you're surrounded by.
correct.
That's not true.
Yes.
We are competitive with each other, Brad. We are uber competitive. That doesn't mean, all right, we're going to go out to the world championships and make anybody like even concerned. That will race
Okay.
with
Yeah.
their warm up.
I wouldn't even consider us a part of either of the communities.
Exactly, but it doesn't mean it's not competitive.
Sorry, point Brad. Next, give me
No.
another point. Give me another one.
8.
8? That's a good one. We haven't picked that one yet. This is another really good one. Running form, overrated or underrated?
Overrated.
Overrated.
I think that people like you. I just see these videos that people are like, oh, in order to run fast, and overpronation is a bad thing, and you have to do this and this and this and this. Like it'll come when you get more efficient and fit anyway.
Totally agree. Overrated. Another number. We tied there, by the way.
Oh, thanks. 19.
19. Ooh.
Good one.
Who's it's another good one. It is, yeah. Who's the best YouTube runner? So this I need two answers. One, who's like the actual best runner from a time perspective? And two, who's the best YouTuber running? channel.
I mean, you have to go with Kafuzi. He's everywhere.
So he's the best like YouTuber.
YouTuber runner.
Okay.
I would think. I mean, I don't know. I don't know of anybody who's like legitimately good. I don't know. Clayton Murphy is the best runner.
It's pretty good. I didn't even think about it. I was thinking of
Yeah.
Seth James Demore
Yeah.
as the best runner.
Ken Blankenship or Ben Blankenship. Blankenship is his last name. What's his first name?
Ben?
Is it Ben Blankenship? Yeah,
right at Syracuse.
He's got he wasn't in Syracuse.
Well, you also have there's a lot of new YouTubers. The kid from he's now with Nike, but he just won NCAA championships last year for cross country from Stanford. Has a YouTube channel now.
That guy. What's his name? Yeah, that guy. I actually like watching him. I still think Clayton Murphy is the best.
You've
runner
got Morgan McDonald, who was an NCAA champion from Wisconsin and runs with On Running, has one. Like, there's a lot of like elite level runners. So best YouTube channel. Best YouTube channel you think is Kafuzi?
I think so. He gets all kinds of stuff. He does a lot of stuff. I just watched his video on the Adidas, the newest Adidas
$500 shoe.
What's that?
$500 shoe. Yeah.
Yeah, he just got that.
That's the same weight as the Mayfly.
Yeah. Light.
Best YouTube. So I think best YouTube channel. It's not really running anymore, but I would still go Nick Simmons. He still does running content.
He does. I mean, he does a good job. Yeah, he does a lot.
Well, you agreed, so I was going to give you the point because you agreed with me. It's Point Brad.
Point Brad.
Give me another number.
I don't even know what we have left, Brad.
All right, I'm just going to run through these. So hot takes here. Training while injured or sick?
Not injured, but sick. Light training, yes. When you say training, do you mean running?
Yep.
No. Take time off until you get right.
I would say if you've got a cold, do it. Get your shit done.
Yeah.
Injured, severity of the injury. Like, I'm injured right now. I can't make it injured worse. So if you can run, go ahead and do it.
And I don't know, like, what do we consider an injury? I mean, my Achilles is not great, but I don't know. Is that an injury? Is that just like a nagging, nag?
I'm guessing somebody smarter than you and I would say you need more time off.
Probably.
Virtual races. Good, bad?
I think
Are they dead now?
I think they should be dead now. I think they worked well when we couldn't meet together, but I think you have to have
no validity to them. No validity to them. No validity to them.
No, because people can cheat. Like, there's all kinds of stuff.
All right. Morning versus evening running.
Evening.
Evening?
I did it over the summer where I did mornings, and it's fine. But if I had to choose, I'd go evening. I just feel like my body's more prepared.
I love morning running because you just get it over with, and then you can do other things.
I concur with that, but I think I enjoy the evening runs better.
I was going to say because you had a little bit of more emotion to it, I was going to give it to you until you said I agree. Point, Brad. What about training more frequently in spikes, like if you're a collegiate runner or high school runner, or super shoes as fat, slow people like us?
You mean just using them more often in our daily training cycle? I think they serve a purpose, but I don't think you have to even do them every week. I think if you do them maybe once a week, I guess. I don't know. Once every other week is okay.
I think you have to do it more frequently than less. Like, you can't just break out super shoes for a race and think it's because it's the exact same as running in spikes. When you don't run in spikes frequently, it just trashes your lower legs. Your calves hurt, your Achilles hurts, your heel hurts. Like, you have to spend time in the shoes to then like be comfortable with
Why
them
would your
when it
heel hurt?
counts. Your heels didn't hurt in college?
I didn't run on my heels, you goober.
I know, but like that, all of that stretch from my calf and my Achilles
Nope.
killed my heels. Just
The
like
only thing that
it was.
hurt me was my forefoot because of the burn, because I was running so fast.
I'll give you a tie again. I'm cheering for you through this.
And I appreciate it. And I'm cheering. I'm taking your cheering. I'm accepting it.
And here's our last question. I got to admit, this is the weakest. I mean, I've hit 21 dingers here. I think you can strike out on one.
I think so.
Validity of racing weight.
I mean, I think the lighter you are, the easier and more efficient you become. I don't think that you have to like necessarily be wafer thin, but I think you should be relatively light in order to run fast. I think it just comes with the territory.
So you'd be a better runner at 140?
I don't think I could run a 3 flat marathon if I weighed 200 pounds.
Okay.
I don't think you have to weigh 140. Like for the two of us, I think I would max out. If I was 165 pounds, I would be very, very lean. I don't know that I could get much leaner than that at this point in stage of my life. So like 140.
So does racing weight matter anymore at
our age? Yeah, it still matters, but I don't think I think people too much. I don't know. You can't be like a stick. Most of us aren't sticks.
I think it's overrated, and I think the closer you're getting to your max potential, like in like truly testing human limits, Ryan Hall has all these empirical numbers that when he dipped under, it was something obscene, like 118 pounds. That he thought that would be his racing weight, and he was able to generate no power in his slowest half marathons, and everything came at it, and he figured out like can't run that thin, but I can't be over 123, like 121. So, but like that's when you're searching literally for seconds.
Right. No, I mean, obviously it matters. I mean, the less weight you carry, the less energy you have to expend per step and all that stuff. But I mean, for most of us, I think if we're relatively healthy, I think that's okay.
All right. I'm gonna get again. Come on, way to go, Jeremy. I'm giving you a point on that one.
Hey, I like this. I like the fact that you didn't put me on too much of a spot. I didn't have to know a whole lot. Just a little bit.
Well, listen, I know who I'm working with here.
I know, and I appreciate it. You're bending over backwards to make me seem like I'm a reasonable human being.
All right, Jeremy.
All right,
sober up, bud.
Yeah.
That's it. That's your goodbye.
Am I supposed to say something different?
I don't know. You've left.
Hey, listen. Hey, Brad. Guess what? I love you, man.
All right, bud. Love you too.